Okay, guys. First, welcome everybody to our call. I want to give a shout out to everybody who did the quarter force workout yesterday. It was freaking awesome. Were you guys able to end up getting through? I know some of you guys you didn't get to do it. Damn it. Somebody told me if they give it, I mean, it's only a month. If they do give another sneak peek, um, somebody said that you can download it through the BOD app, and they downloaded and like saved it to their phone, which is really cool. I didn't know that you could do that, or I would have done that. But I seen it in like somebody's comments today. I think somebody commented on something of Steph's. But it was really awesome. And if you like that kind of stuff, it was a great workout, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not like a huge, like, because I did combat and I hated it. But this I liked, and because it felt like fast, and like I was telling Vanessa yesterday when her and I were talking, it's a lot of, I think, depends on who the trainer is. And I feel like even like with Brazil butt lift, I get bored because that guy's just weird. And like the combat was just weird for me because I just didn't really get into who the trainer was. I never had done anything with him, and I didn't really kick off right away, but I really did like that workout yesterday. And I'm excited for, so just because we got a sneak peek and that's done, like use it, talk about it when Beachbody's talking about it, we need to be talking about it, get people excited for that. I wouldn't doubt that they release another sneak peek sometime before the release, just because you can't go a month without. So, but yeah, hopefully they do, and you guys get to do it. If I would have known to download it, I would have, so that you guys could have did it, because they tried to log on some of them last night, Aim, and it was not working. So what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, and I have had a couple one-on-one calls with some of you guys, and Amy is a freaking rock star when it comes to, she doesn't like even try to do it. She just does it. And she has told me several times that, everything that she learned with Beachbody, she wasn't really applying to Beachbody, but she applied it in her real job, and she like did amazing things in her real job. So she's a sole like believer in everything that we should be doing, the inviting process. And she really just is very direct in that. I struggle with that. So I know that some of you guys, if not all of you, struggle with that. And because you just feel like you're being pushy, and you just say, okay, like me and Steph joke around like, okay, well, I'll talk to you next month then. And it's just, there's so many ways of talking around instead of just like walking away. And in a way, from what I have learned, a girl had messaged me last night and said that she didn't have the money, and she was embarrassed to answer my message because she didn't have the money. And I said, oh my God, like, don't be embarrassed. And it was just kind of me forming a relationship. You get to form a relationship when you start to ask them questions, and you don't really take no for an answer. You're not really like that person. It was just like, oh, okay, then I'll talk to you next month. I was just trying to sell you something anyways. So I was able to like have a conversation with her and say, have you ever thought about what I do as a coach? You could totally invite 2 or 3 of your friends to join, and, offset your cost of what you pay for the challenge pack and potentially make some extra money. And she did say she's busy right now, but we can chat again in December. So I know me a month ago, I would have never done that. And Amy has helped me do that. So I wanted her to talk to you guys and like just have a conversations about inviting, because I think from what I've gotten from all of you guys is that's something that everybody is struggling in. What to say, how to word things, follow-ups, and things like that. So when we were at the retreat, we went over some things that were just kind of scenarios and invites that people were using and such. But I asked a couple of the girls to send me scenarios and invites, and one person did send me an invite that they've been using and a scenario. So I do want to look at that. And then there's just a couple of these scenarios that I want to go over, and then I'm going to let Amy talk because she has some really good stuff for you guys. So if you guys don't raise your hands or like unmute yourselves and answer, I'm just going to call you out on this. So be prepared for that. So let me see. So you have an awesome coach prospect, which is like a challenger, who is already doing all 4 vital behaviors. You approach them about coaching and they say no because they don't want to market to their friends and family. What do you do and what do you say to them?
I'll say I have a friend who right now is doing everything. Like, she talks about Beachbody. She's having really good success. And her excuse is time, not family. But I keep telling her that she's already doing it and that she takes the time out of the day to do it. So all she has to do is just do a little bit more. And so instead of hearing a no from her, because she was somebody who's like, I'm never going to work out a day in my life. I don't want to ever drink Shaco. Now she drinks it, works out every day, is addicted to it. It's Pam from our team group. She's on our page, on our fit group. She is considering coaching now because I was like, listen, you already talk about it. She's uplifting on the pages most of the time, even in the chat, like my health bet, she was really uplifting. So I just told her, I said, just think about it and you're going to get a discount and then you can possibly make some money on the side. And she's like, she actually gave me okay, maybe instead of a no.
Good. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason, especially somebody who's putting it out there, and just show them that added value of, getting the discount on Shakeology, if nothing else. But just putting the fact that they can help other people, and if they're doing it anyways, and like she's saying, time is an issue. I mean, if you can work this business and you can become a diamond coach on working 2.5 hours a day, 2 hours a day. I did it when I worked full time. So it's totally doable if you know and set your time. I was actually much more strict when I worked full time than I am what I do now because I'm a hot ass mess over here. Go ahead, Dana.
How about if you go back at it with a question of, can I ask you what this has done for you so far? And then for them to respond, obviously, with positive stuff because they're already responding positive about it if they're already doing the 4 vital behavior health. So if their response is positive, why would you not want to share that with your family? Like, you're not selling it to them. You're sharing the idea. And if you're worried about going with your friends or your family, like I guess I'm just thinking from maybe my own perspective, but if they are responding that they're getting benefits out of it, why wouldn't you want to share that with them? You're sharing it with them. You're not selling anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I, like, when we talked about reaching out to our discount coaches or whatever, the couple that I did reach out to, I just said to them, I'm like, I'm sure your friends and family have seen that you've, lost weight and you feel better about yourself. Like, why don't you invite them 2 or 3, of them to just join you? And they all took that. It was like, yeah. And you know what I mean? They said they would think about it, but it was nothing like, I didn't feel pushy doing that to them because they've already, seen a change. And if they can see the potential with the business of just inviting people and seeing that Shakeology get paid for, it's like a huge thing for them. Okay, so a friend or acquaintance reaches out to you and says, hey girl, so I'm ready. I'm tired of feeling this way. Sorry, I don't mean to sound so desperate, but maybe I am. I just want to be healthy. I just don't know how or where to start. How would you respond to that person? Holly. Okay, you're good.
Okay. So I would, how I address that, I just say, awesome. I can definitely help you out. If you can just give me some of your goals that you have right now, and just talk about if their nutrition is okay, if it needs cleaned up at all, what they're currently doing, if they're, going to the gym or doing any type of programs. Before I even mention Shakeology or Beachbody, I kind of just do some prying questions first, and just kind of conversation back and forth about that. And then I'll start saying, just introducing, if they happen to know what Beachbody is, have they ever done any programs, heard of it, heard of Shakeology? And a lot of them say no, and then I just explain everything to them. So that's how I kind of form it, and then kind of just go from there. I can help you out with recommendation for a program. And then, so just kind of, I don't immediately say like Beachbody.
No.
Kind of just, kind of get their background and what they've been going through and what they've tried already, and what specific goals that they're having. If they're having any, I always ask about medical issues or physical limitations too, to see what program is going to be best for them.
Yeah. One thing that I do that like helps me figure out like what program when we get to that point, like, and I do the same thing. You have to ask questions, because if you just start tossing around, oh, do the 21-day fix, we got all these promos on special for people are
They don't know what that is. They don't know what that is.
They're going to be like, this girl's crazy. And they're going to instantly, that whole thing of you thinking that you messaged them and they thought you were just trying to sell them something. That's exactly what they're going to think when you start throwing that shit at them. So you don't even want to ever start with all these, we have this and that on sale. Like, you need to, and especially if you're sending cold invites, you have to this is how you're going to form them, because we've had this conversation over and over and over again. I'm not huge on forming because I don't like to build a fake relationship. And I don't think that I'm building fake relationships, because I, in a sense, did this with all of you guys, but I felt like we built our relationship afterwards. You guys followed me for so long. We had a conversation. You were ready to do it. You did it. And then we built a relationship afterward. And I will ask about people's kids, but like, I don't take it to a whole nother level about asking about job and things, because I would be very upset or offended if somebody did that to me. So, but 3 things that I say, like one question that I will say to someone is, I ask them, if you had a chance, if you were to go to a gym and take a class, would you take a total body workout class? Would you take a dance fitness like Zumba class, or would you take a Pilates and yoga class? Because if they say like a total body workout, 21-day fix or any of those programs would work for them. And that's a good way for them to like tell you what they've been doing. And then, because they may be doing something or going to the gym already. 21-day fix may not be good for them. They may need something like that, but then you can say, oh, the fix extreme. And a dance cardio then, or something like that, then that you can suggest size or country heat, or, if Pilates and yoga, then we have this other stuff. And if it's somebody who doesn't really know what they would do, and every time I ask that, I most of the time get the nail on the head with the program of what somebody wants. Because if somebody does not like Zumba or dancing, they're going to tell you, hell no, I would never go to a gym and take a dance class. So, and like Pilates and yoga, a lot of people, if they like that kind of stuff, they'll tell you. And that was the way that I don't even know where that even came from. But I was just messaging somebody one night and I said, if you had a chance to go to the gym, because she was kind of unaware of like where to even go. And I just said, if you had a chance to go to the gym, what type of class would you take? And that's basically, where you can get, we're basically in all of those things. So that to me is something that was like a huge thing that I do when I'm in that process. And that was my scenario or my invite thing that I sent to Nikki. So I probably said something similar to her, this girl that reached out to me and said that. So I probably did that with her and asked her, because she had no clue to where to even begin. And initially I thought she should have did the 21-day fix, but she did country heat and she did freaking amazing. So, and we talked it out and she was just like, I'd prefer dancing. And, she started saying, well, but then I showed her the video of country heat and against 21-day fix. And she's like, I'd rather do the dancing thing. So, and she got it and she rocked it. So now she's doing size and she loves it. So dancing's her thing. But you have to find that stuff out. You cannot just like start throwing stuff at them and saying that, because that's why people don't stick to programs, because we as coaches sometimes just kind of tell them what to get because we think it's on sale, or they see us talking about the sales and then they instantly want that program because it's the cheapest one, but it may not be the best for them. And then they don't follow through. So for me, I used to do it all the time. I don't even talk about like the 10 things for $10 or anything like that. I really just invite to my challenge group, and then when they reach out, then we have a conversation about what, because the 21 day fix is not for everyone. Some people don't want to do that. So think about that. Let me see. There was one in here, and where did it go? Because I really liked this one. It was that one. Amy would probably knows exactly which one I'm talking about. It was like okay, here it is. Someone who has been following you, liking your post, and commenting on your post has asked to join your challenge group for like the 10th time with no prior commitments. How do you ensure that they actually join this time? Erica, you're up.
I was just thinking I've had that problem. So I guess, I mean, I have a couple of comebacks. Trying to think. I mean, I guess I would probably say, what makes you think, or what has changed your mind this time, and what makes you think that what makes you think that you're ready to commit this time, or what's changed, and now why do you think that you are ready?
Yeah, I think that's a good, definitely finding out what has changed, because you know what I mean? We obviously don't want to be like, you never committed before, so, you know, what has changed? But just asking them, you know, what has changed? Like, are you ready to go full force with this, you know, and just be excited. I feel like when it comes to somebody like that who has never committed, being super excited about them wanting to be involved and getting them like super excited, like that is huge for me. Whenever somebody says, especially if it's somebody I've been following up with and inviting, and they like push me off, I always end with, before I send that email off to them, like, I am so freaking excited for you to join this group and, you know, reach your goals or whatever, because they need to feel that excitement. They don't need, because you have to just be there for them. And I remember, Amy, way back in, I don't even remember it was, I think you said it on somebody's call, you have to get people excited. Like, you can get excited people excited. So I feel like if they're in that mode where they reach out to you and they're ready, then you have to stay excited for them, because they obviously, that took a lot for them to finally message you and, you know, reach out. So being excited about them wanting to do it is huge. And like you said, asking what has changed, you know. And I want to do, Eric, that one invite, and then just this one really quickly. You get a new coach prospect all set up to go in the Coach mobile app. You double check that they got their email from Beachbody to finish the process. A few days go by and they don't finish the process. What do you do? What happens after that if they still don't commit? So what would you do initially? And then if they still didn't commit, and after you talk to them the first time, what would you do the second time around? Hope, where are you? She said, wait a minute. She's not getting off the hook. Ugh. Oh, while we're waiting for her, Vanessa, I didn't get to tell you, I think everybody else, because we're in a group chat together, my mom's stuff came back benign today. So Vanessa was she was like very worried about that. She was like, if you don't tell me by Friday, I'm messaging you.
Oh, great. I'm so excited. That's great news.
Yeah, I was happy. I can now go on vacation and not have to worry.
That's good. I saw you got it all finally booked.
Yeah, at midnight last night. Where's she at?
I can just say I had one friend who I messaged for 4 months straight, Bree, the one that was in the coach training, every single month. And she told me no up front because she did Herbalife. And then finally, after me being like, I would just send her, she's a good friend of mine, so I could actually just be like, hey, are you going to ever sign up? Because you know that Shakeology is better for you than Herbalife, and I proved it to you more than once. And so with that, knowing her, I could do that. But I just kept messaging her, giving her like little tidbits here and there. And she signed up, but she's not working it though.
Yeah, that's all right. So one thing that I would do, and that I know that I for sure do, is I would, oh, wait, she's here. She can say.
I'm sorry.
That's
I got
okay.
drama in my life where you just don't even know that I have it.
Oh, goodness.
No, it's crazy. I was kind of listening, but I was kind of not. So,
Okay, so
what do you do?
you get a new coach prospect all set up to go in the Coach mobile app. You double check that they got their email from Beachbody to finish the process. A few days goes by and they still haven't finished it. What would you do? And then after you do that, what would you do if they still did not finish it?
Oh, this is what we're doing. I missed all this, right? Oh, I forgot. I didn't get any. Okay. So they didn't do it at first. So you're saying about like what I would do, like in my working situation. So you guys know how I talk. So I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Like, I noticed that you didn't, finish the app. Is there a problem? Were you able to get, first I would ask them, did they receive it? If they received the link, that's to be the first thing. Hey, did you receive that link that I got you, girl? Because, I just want to make sure that everything is cool. Because sometimes, my internet is crazy. I want to make sure you receive the link. Because I don't ever like to sound like I'm like super desperate for to do anything.
Yeah.
So then if they respond, yeah, I got it. Oh, well, did you have any problems, filling out? Because sometimes these things can be kind of crazy. So let me know, if there's anything that you need to do to help you fill it out or continue on with the process, whatever it is, you know. Mm-hmm. And then if a couple days goes by and then they don't respond, I would probably do the same thing. Hey, what's up? So, I feel some hesitation. Tell me what it is. Tell me what your hesitation is. That you don't want to do this. Is it your commitment? And most of the time that's what they say. It's their commitment. And so I just tell them, listen, hey, the struggle's real, and I'm connecting you with a group of women who are on the same journey, doing the same thing, struggling every single day like you. So it's the best place for you to be. Trust me. That's one of my lines. Y'all can have that if you want to.
No, I think that's great. I think that's awesome to say that because it goes right with kind of like being direct and saying like, we don't want to be mean to them, obviously, but we kind of want to call them out in a sense like, okay, so what's stopping you from doing this? Especially if they showed a lot of interest in it. Right. One thing that I do, like you said initially, asking, I blame everything on Beachbody. Like, when I message people that like haven't filled it out, I'm like, hey, I just wanted to check and make sure you got that link and it worked for you. Sometimes that site is so quirky. That I always say on my first message checking in with them because it's an easy like go-to thing. And then, the second time if they don't fill it out, I'm not as direct as you, I can say. Honestly, I do suck at this. And, but I will just, say something to them along the lines like, hey, our group starts on such and such day. Make sure that I don't even know what the hell I say to them, but I don't say that. So that is really good to say because
you say I'm like super direct. It's really how I relate to people. Like I'm just a keep it real type person. Like, so I don't, I'll call people out. Like, I'm like, okay, call out, what you doing? Like, but that's just me. And I think that people can relate to me that way. Cause even sometimes in my posts, like I'm just like, keep it real, get your butt up. What's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, that's just who I am. And so when I'm forming, like this is what you see. So the way that I'm talking to you now, this is what you get when I'm forming. So for me to like say, well, what's your problem? Like, what's holding you back? That's what they've always gotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I'm like the cheerleader. I totally am like, yeah, yeah. And then when they don't do it, I'm like, oh, okay. That's just how I am. And I'm like so direct and like in your face, and I can be that way. But then I just feel really bad whenever I just feel like if somebody just doesn't want to do it or they didn't have the money, because I know where I was.
Yeah.
And if Allison kept tormenting me, I probably would have been like, leave me the hell alone. But she followed up, and then I kind of do in the way that she did with me. She just kind of let me do my own thing. And then, but I need to get better at that. And I am admitting that I need to get better at that. Hence why I have brought in, reinforcements. But yeah, no, I think that's a really good way to handle that. And just saying, and Amy has even told me, you need to start doing that. Like, what's up? What's going on? Like, why didn't you finish this? What has changed? You were so excited about it. Now you're not. And I just kind of did that yesterday, and I did get a good response. So, I mean, I just need to, I guess I needed more ways to word things, because I just feel like I can be very abrupt and raw, and I don't want it to come off as I'm being rude and not being. So for me, I just kind of need, I guess, the rewording of it. But, last thing is, I just want to, me and Amy were talking about an invite that someone sent me. So I wanted to go over that really quickly, and then we can let Amy chat. Okay, so this is an invite that I asked a couple of you girls to send me, and Erica sent this to me. So she said this is one of the invites / like follow-ups that she's doing. Hi, how's it going? I know you were really interested in joining the online fitness support group earlier. You have some great goals, and I'm super excited to help you get started on your journey. I just wanted to let you know that I am running a promo this month for anyone who signs up with me. A bag of Shakeology and a workout program. You'll also get a $10 gift card to the place of your choosing. There are tons of amazing programs on sale for $10 this month when you try a bag of the shake. So it would be like getting an entire workout program for free, which is a huge savings. No pressure. I just wanted to let you know that was going on. I also just started another online fitness support group October 3rd, and there are a few spots still open. I'd love to have you if you're still interested. Can I save a spot for you? Aim, I'm leaving that open to you.
So, okay. So first of all, I absolutely, I love that you bring up the goals, that you tell her you're excited. I absolutely love that. I think that you say you have a promo is cool. And then I love how you end it, that you're telling her that you have a few spots open, and that you'd love to have her if you're still interested. Can you save a spot? What I wouldn't do is talk about the programs, because what you're doing there is you're kind of throwing out all the information, and then you're giving them an option just to say yes or no. What I would do is try to get an invitation to have a conversation. So what I would do is kind of take all that information out of the middle and have that as what your next, maybe what's going to come up in your next conversation. So, hey, I'm super excited to get you on your journey. We talked about your goals. I'd like to talk about those a little bit more, and, maybe pick a program, talk about a program, so I think, my thing with the invitation is just to get to the conversation. So is there a good time that we could talk? Or just throw this out hey, are you available to chat later today, or, whatever. So that's what I'm always talking to Jen about, is just trying to get them to get engaged in a conversation with you. And then I absolutely love what Jen then said was, then when you get them to talk to you, well, so, hey, if you could pick a program, what would you do? And then that's where you talk about you might want to talk about your programs. But I really, I don't get into the nitty gritty of the program until they've committed to me that they're going to sign up. So, but I love how you're I'm super excited. I love that you've talked about the goals, but I really would get into more questions to get them answering questions instead of, I don't give out any information or pricing in an invite.
Yeah, and I think with that, since it's more of a follow-up in a sense, or an invite, however you switch the wording around to turn it into an invite, you could totally ask them, instead of saying about the program, say after, let me look at this again.
Or I have a great promo, do you have time, to talk
Yeah.
about
Or we can,
great info, but it's confusing. Do you have time to chat?
yeah. Let's chat about what program would work best for you, especially if you haven't locked in a program or anything with them, just talking and bringing up the fact that, that there's a way. I'm going to, hold on. Let me.
Because I love it. You're not tentative at all. I mean, it's a great invite.
Yeah. So I would say $10 gift card to the place of your choosing, and leave it at that, and say, let me know when you're available to chat so we can figure out a program that will work for you. And say, I had a group that started October 1st. I'd love to have, you join us. Can I save you a spot, or let's chat soon or something? When can we chat or whatever? Like Amy said, don't ever say let's chat soon or whatever. Leave the door open. And I learned this week in my personal development. I'm listening to that Leave Your Mark book. Has nothing to do. It's about landing an interview. I bought the damn book because it had a pretty cover. But it is actually a really good book, but it has nothing to do with this. This girl's trying to get a job in a fashion industry, but she said, know the deadline. And it had nothing to do with what I'm doing or what we do as coaches. But I just that resonated with me, because it was know that deadline, give them a deadline.
Right.
My group starts October 3rd, or, when is a good time that we can chat? Don't just say, okay, we'll chat soon. Make them give you an answer in a sense.
Yeah. And don't leave that open. Can I save you a spot? Because if she says no, then you're now what?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I've been a little bit direct with some follow-up, saying that I'd use one that says something are you going to join? Something about, are you joining? Can I save you your spot, or should I give your spot up to somebody else? Because, do you want to secure your spot, or should I give that spot to somebody else? And that kind of sometimes gets them really oh shit, she's going to, this, because when you do things like that, that makes it a little bit more urgent and a more kind of exclusive. Hey, I was saving you this spot. Are you going to use it, or should I give it to somebody else? So I think that's, good ways around that. I agree with Amy 100% about, because I think we want to give them all the information because we want them to say yes, yes, yes. That sounds so awesome. But we also want to just hold back a little bit until we know, you may talk to them, and then we may have gotten them excited about a program that's $10, and they might not like any of the programs that are on sale right now for $10, which would be crazy. But I mean, they might want something like Body Beast or something, what I mean? We never really know till we say, let's chat and figure out a program that would work for you. And then that's when I would say something once I know what program they're going to go with, I'll get you hope. Then I would say, okay, so you can get, that's when I kind of, in my way, word vomit of every single thing they're going to get in their package, so that I can make it sound like they're getting such an amazing deal. But I don't say any of that until I know that they're committed and they want to do Shakeology and a Beachbody program. Okay, sorry. Hope, go ahead.
So how do you, excuse me. So I hear it, and I hear everything that you're saying about not, and I don't talk money at first. I'm starting to get pretty good at the forming and trying to get around, because I remember one of the other calls we had where you want to get around the money thing. Well, what do you do with that person? You really can't form them, because that's all they really want to talk about is how much does this cost? What do I get for this? How much, how do you I always find myself sitting here pausing, okay, what am I going to say now? Because I don't really want to get into the money part and how much this thing cost. And I really wanted to I really want to pull out of the person, what do you really want? What are your goals? What are your objectives?
Awesome.
And I do, but it always comes back to, well, how much does that cost? How much, you know what I mean? Everything with this is really, it's all down
After I talk goals and stuff,
mm-hmm.
And that's sometimes a lot of people do. Well, how much is that? Okay, yeah, that sounds great, but how much is it going to cost? Okay, right. So what you're going to get is you're going to get a workout program. We'll discuss what you're going to get. We'll get your workout program, and I literally tell them, because most of the programs come with the containers or the meal plan. You're going to get a meal plan. You're going to get these color-coded measuring cups. You're going to get a workout calendar to follow. You're going to get access to the group. You're going to have me as your coach. You get 30 days of Shakeology, which is basically like 30 meals. And you get 30 days free access of the Beachbody On Demand to try and, if you want to see something else or just get some more activity, different, promote whatever. The word's not coming out of my mouth. But I say that and I give them all that stuff that they're going to get. And then I give it to them. I try to keep that excitement, and then they'll probably come back and say, okay, so how much does that cost? And or sometimes at the end of it, I'll say, oh, and gonna get all of that. For the majority of the time, it's $140 because we've talked program already. But I just try to give them all the information, other than like I said, I get them excited about what they're going to get to make that package seem like it's an amazing deal.
Have you ever watched any of the training videos that are in the back when they talk, that are in the back office that talk about how to deal with that? They kind of have, I'm trying to think what it is. They're in the back office and they talk about like how to talk to people and avoid price. Like when they keep, have you ever watched any of those?
No, I haven't. I'm not sure. I've seen one of them. I don't know if it was in the back office or if it was like something that Jen posted or something. So I have done that. And like I said, I'm getting pretty good with the forming thing. It's just that, like, because like I want to know more about the person. I want to get away from that money part of it, but what I'm finding, and I'm sure everybody here finds that that's all they care about is how much is this going to cost, and it's like sometimes, I don't know, I just get frustrated and be like, oh my gosh, you like, is this, what about the health?
And I try to tell people, the cost is different depending on how involved you are in the business. So it's, I can just tell, so that's why I kind of try to tell people, let's talk about what you want to do first, or, and then we'll talk about costs later. Because what I try to do with some people, like for instance, if my daughter wants to bring somebody in, I'll tell my daughter, sit down with them, try to get them on Facebook and get them to join with 3 friends. Then they can sign up. They can get some friends to sign up. And then already they've made the money from their Shakeology if they sign up as a coach and they bring friends in. So even though, they may sign up for the 140, they can be an Emerald coach in the first day, because that's really just a decision, and then they can get their money back. So while it's, it's going to cost them 140, they're still going to be getting that value back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And saying something very similar to that, like if it's just a challenger, well, I can't tell you all, the programs vary. So I need to find out a little bit more about what you want to get out of this. And that, for me to make sure that I give you the right program, and then we can, figure out how much it's going to cost you, because, they vary.
Because really, they can get on and do the free yoga. They can give their credit card and do the free yoga for 3 weeks and pay nothing and see how they like that. So that's an option too, without even buying Shakeology. So part of this whole thing, and this kind of leads into like my little spiel.
Hold on one second, Abe. What's your question, Nessa?
Might be something. I'm having problems forming. That's where I'm stuck at. Like, I can't even get past the free group thing. Like, cause I'm actually just offering my services as free group. I'm not asking them or requiring them to purchase anything. Cause that's how I've always done it. And that's how I got it. Now it's like nothing. I did really good with the health bet and I made Emerald really fast, but now I'm going through recovery and my business has completely just like tanked. You can ask Jen, like nothing. I have no prospects, nothing anymore. So my question is how do I form? Like I'm stuck because I try to like connect and do the relationships and then people just drop off, or then I do the cold invites and they don't even respond. And that's just cold invites with the free group. That's not even mentioning Beachbody and whatsoever.
Okay. Aim, that's probably your whole thing. So you go for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's really the hard part, I think, and that's where a lot of people struggle. And I think that's where a lot of forming, is just, again, the daily stuff, going through the vital behaviors, being a product of the product, going through each day, adding people to your friends list either through groups, you know, commenting on and liking people's posts and just trying to interact with people and forming that way. You know, I don't want to say I've exhausted my warm market, but you know, my warm market is like the people I went to high school with, and I'm 51 years old. They're all like, I can't relate to them. So it's like, I really have to go out and start this new market. And the people who I've become friends with are these like people who have bulldogs. Like, and it's really funny. I just became friends with them by going into bulldog groups, commenting on posts that they commented on. Like, and it's taken a long time. Like, it's taken me a year, but little by little, you know, and those are the people who are joining my challenge groups now. But it's taken me a long time, because the people who are my friends from high school, they're like these super successful, like really highly driven people. And they're kind of the people who joined me at first. But, you know, when you get through your warm market, then that's when the business becomes hard. And that's typically when people drop off.
Yes.
You know, you become Emerald, you're like, oh, I got this. You know, you hit Success Club a couple months in a row, and then all of a sudden these people are like, whatever. And then that's when it becomes difficult.
It's killing me.
Right. So I just want to kind of like just briefly go through this thing. I'm reading this book, and it's called Spin Marketing, I think. But what's really interesting about it, you know, like we learn through Beachbody, like our 4 vital behaviors, they teach us all that stuff. But, you know, what they don't really teach us is like how to close sales, you know, and that's the kind of stuff like I've been telling Jen about, and, you know, I've been talking to Steph. And, you know, what's interesting is they categorize sales as small sales and large sales. So if you look at a challenge pack, I mean, really that's a small sale, because all of you have been to Target and spent $140 that you don't have. And then you've gone home and you're like, oh my God, I can't pay the electric bill because I just spent $140 on crap. I mean, we've all done it. And you don't have to like the salesperson, right? You just buy shit and you don't even think about it. So really it's a small sale, but you're not asking for a small sale. You're asking, I mean, if you guys are in this business, and you all are, you're asking someone to commit to $1,000 a year, like until you reach, like, because really you all want to be a superstar diamond, right? I mean, I do. Like, I want to have 15 diamonds under me. Like, that's my thing. So everybody under me, like, I'm asking them to commit $1,000 a year for the rest of their life. I mean, that's what I want. So that's not a small sale. Like, that's a large sale. So I'm reading this book. They've studied like 36,000 or 35,000 sales calls of like the top salesmen, like of all sales, like everywhere. And they've tried to figure out what makes salespeople successful, you know, and I think we hear these things, like if you go to Beachbody events, they talk about, oh, you know, it takes 5 times to close a sale and it takes this and that. Well, if you pressure someone to make a small sale, like if I try to close you on a pair of shoes that costs $100, I can pressure you into buying that pair of shoes by using these little sales techniques. And you can buy a book and say like, you know, well, do you like this pair or this pair better? I mean, there are all these techniques, and you can be pushy, and they're going to leave and they're going to buy that pair of shoes. And just like I can pressure someone to buy Shakeology in a challenge pack using sales techniques that you can read in a book, you like buy PD, you can read it, and then they're going to cancel the next month and they're going to be gone. Like, that's the reality. So if you want to hit Success Club, you can do small sales by using closing techniques that you can read in a book, and then they're going to be gone. Like, and this was like this huge epiphany that I had reading this book. So really, like, we're in the large sale business. So the way people are successful in large sales, they use the spin technique. And the way you are successful is by asking questions and investigating. So that's the way people are successful. And successful salespeople in large sales don't have to close deals, because they're solving a problem, and the people they're selling to have figured out that they need this product to solve their own problems, so that the person doesn't actually have to close the sale. So just as an example, spin sales, what you're doing when you talk to your person, so when you're forming, you're figuring out, your data gathering, and you're getting facts and backgrounds, right? So your first thing is you're like, hey, you know, like, what's going on. You're trying to figure out, like, do you work out now? How's your nutrition? So, like, let's just say I get a free lead from Beachbody. My first thing I send out is like, hey, I'm your free coach. Are you working out now? What do you do? How's your nutrition? Or if you're forming, like, I'll talk to somebody I met in the Bulldog group, and I'm like, they might comment on a post like, oh, your posts are motivating. I'll say, oh, do you work out now? What do you do? Do you work out in a gym? Like, you're just trying to get information. So that's your situation is data gathering. So again, this is SPIN, S-P-I-N. So situation is data gathering. The P is you're figuring out their problem, right? So what's your problem? Why don't you work out? Why don't you eat right? Do you have 50 kids? Are you a school teacher? Do you work 10 jobs? Do you not have time to go to the gym? So you're identifying what's your problem. So you're trying to figure out, why do they need me? What can I do for them? So that's your second thing you're doing. And so all you're doing is asking questions. And they figured out it doesn't matter whether the question is a yes or no, or whether it's an open-ended question. So you can say, do you work out? You don't have to even say, you know what I mean? Like, so you don't have to be super creative. Just ask questions. So identify the situation, gather data, and then figure out a problem. Then the next thing, which is the most important thing that all successful salespeople do, and is implication. So you're figuring out the consequences, you're exploring the consequences of the problem. So because they have this problem, so their problem is, they have gained weight because they had a baby, they don't eat well, and they don't exercise. The implication is that they feel uncomfortable in shorts, they don't like how they look in the mirror, they're self-conscious. So these are the things, but you're asking these hard questions of them, So you're actually asking them, like, you know what I mean? Like, you really have to get real with people. So you're really digging in, because, I guess most of us are talking to women, like, their husband's not asking them these questions. Like, well, how do you feel because you have this 10 extra pounds? Or how do you feel because you don't work out? Or how do you feel because you don't have time for yourself? So you're really digging in deep with these people. So this is kind of how you're forming. And implications, like, people who talk about implications are the most successful people in sales. So that's S-P-I, implications, the I, and then N is needs payoff, the need payoff. So what would the payoff be? So that's where you're saying to them, if I could improve the quality of your life, so basically if I could put you in a challenge group, or I could give you a solution that would help you improve your nutrition, or like help you lose 5 pounds, or help you, drop a pant size, or help you feel better on vacation, or do this, would that change your life? Or would that make you feel better? Or would that give you more self-confidence? So then at the end, they're like, yes, oh my God, like, where have you been? So then you're not in that position where you're like having to drive this deal home, but this doesn't happen in a phone call. So part of the problem in our business is, number one, I'm telling you right now, because I do not invite enough. I invite very little, but I'm pretty good at sales. So when I do invite, I've really qualified this person. Like, I know I have a list, and I know who I can, like, nail them, and they're going to come with me. Like, I know it. So, like, by the time I actually hit that invite, I know they're saying yes. So I've really qualified my people. But, if you've invited 100 people, and, you're doing this process with all those people, you're going to be in this pattern. And that's why, like, these top coaches are so successful, because they're addressing all these things in their posting. You know what I mean? Like, in their posts, they're basically posting like, hey, in my group, we're losing this weight, and hey, you're going to feel better in your clothes. And hey, so they've become marketing experts. They're building trust by showing that the workout, so through personal development, through being a product of the product, like through all the stuff that we know through Beachbody, they've become expert marketers and salespeople using these techniques. So, like, the little key that Beachbody, though, does not teach us is like the little sales part of it. I don't think they address that. Like, they really don't. And you can buy personal development in sales, but the thing is, like, if you're real pushy and the person doesn't want to do it, you're going to push them away. So you kind of have to be careful. But but then in that same respect too, a lot of, don't, I always tell Jen too, don't leave it open-ended. If someone's like, oh, I'm not ready right now and this and that, that's okay. That's fine. I wasn't ready when my coach first asked me, but I'm so glad she did because it changed my life. So I'm going to call you back. So I will call you again in 2 weeks and I'm really looking forward to talking to you or something. That's, I talk to people, like I was telling Jen the other day, like, I don't know how many of you ever played sports I tried out for cheerleading when I was a little kid. I can't even touch my toes, but like, I remember looking at the list, like hoping someone picked me. So like when I talk to someone about like, hey, I have a spot in my challenge group, I think about like, hey, I have this spot, but I only have 3 and I'll hold it for you. It's okay if you don't want to do it. It's fine. Because another one will open up, but not this month. So if you don't want to, that's fine. It's totally fine. We'll talk about it again next month. But I'm going to call you and we're going to keep talking about your goals because I want to help you. And that's fine. Maybe I'll have a free group in the meantime, but you have to kind of remember, and I know we get caught up. I get caught up because I want to get on that goddamn Success Club trip. So I'm like, I want to get those points. But, I think that's part of the problem, is that you forget, and if you really just focus on finding out what people need and listening to people and asking great questions like Jen's question about, what workout would you do at the gym? I think really, instead of even just like writing invites, making lists of questions and making a Google Doc for forming questions would be so helpful. Because I'm actually like an introvert unless you get me on this thing where no one talks to me, and then I'm really good at talking. But like if I go to a cocktail party, I'm in the corner, like petting the dog. But
what I loved, what did you say at the retreat that you said
excitable people.
Well, that, and then it was another about like an objection or somebody just said no to a challenge group, and you said, oh, that stinks. I'm sorry to hear that. I thought you'd be so great for this group.
Oh my God. Like I thought you'd be perfect for the group and like, or something, like really, I'm just always right. Is that what you were?
Like she like acted like shocked that they didn't want to be involved.
And you know what? I try to get people on a Zoom call too when I talk to them. That's the other thing. So always try to get the face-to-face.
Yeah.
But, and the other thing too, like what's really funny, I think with the objection thing, like people will call me and my company all the time, and they're like, hey, you guys want to buy this or buy that. As soon as I get off the phone, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go to this conference because it's in Colorado. And I'm like, oh, can't spend money on that. And I think it's the same thing. Like we'll get on the phone with someone and they're like, oh yeah, I'll buy that challenge pack. And then right upside their news feed, it's like, oh, there's a pair of shoes. Whoop, forget that challenge pack. So I think, you have to keep in mind, it's not that they don't necessarily mean no. It's winter. There's like cute Uggs coming out. They're $140. What, it's not that they're saying no. There's just so many other things. So don't take Apple Watch. Yeah. Don't take it. Just don't ever take anything personally. Don't you have to be so thick skinned. And, so I don't know. I think that was kind of my, but really like the huge thing is that the most successful people in sales and in large sales, which really this is, because small sales are like where you're just buying a one-stop shop. Large sales is where you have to be involved with the person you're buying from for a long period of time. And this is it. So the most successful people are the people who ask questions.
Yeah.
And because you trust them. And we don't want to be using like tricky sales techniques to close our deals, but we don't want to let people just walk away because we're really doing them a disservice if we don't help them try to make a decision, because we know it's the right decision. We know we can help them.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I never thought about it that way. And like another thing too is like Amy, I think will agree is, you get all these templates and invite scripts and things like that. And as your coach or as a coach or a leader for your team, you're doing that because you want to not make them reinvent the wheel. But do not sit around and compare yourself to like, oh, well, she's using that invite, that's going to work for me. Because I like that invite that I shared with you, or that follow-up I shared with you guys yesterday about the Fixate cookbook to offer that. I had 3 people message me back, 2 to 3 people. And they all, well, I did have 3 people. The one girl said she didn't have money, and the other 2 were like, okay, I'm going to do it. But that little thing worked for them. Steph sent that, and she didn't get, like, almost everybody ignored her. So, I mean, just because it worked for her didn't work for her didn't mean that it was going to not work for me. And not saying that you can't try it, but when she sent it to me, I also didn't use her exact wording. I changed it around to something that would be my wording and how I would speak to them. And you just kind of have to make this whole thing your own. And how you would talk to somebody in person is how you should talk to them in your invites. Just like Hope said, that's, what you see is what you get. And that's how I am. Like I probably should be a little bit harder on my challengers and my challenge groups. I'm the cheerleader. I'm cheering them on and saying, you guys are freaking awesome and you're doing this. And then I don't yell at them when they're not doing it. So I should probably do more of that. Just like I should do more of, being a little bit more direct when it comes to them not finishing their, enrollment form. So we all have to work on things, but don't just think that because it works for me and Amy or Hope that it's going to work for you. You have to make all of this your own. And we've talked about it a million times, schedules, making a schedule for yourself. If it comes down to making a schedule of invite, you should be doing invite posts on your page, as well as not just inviting people privately. You should be inviting people on your page, and inviting posts are talking about Shakeology, talking about your workouts and, things like that. If you're not talking about that, they're going to look at you like you're nuts whenever you're inviting them to try the Shakeology and they don't even know what it is because they've never seen you posting about it. So you have to add that value so that, you're giving them what they're going to probably question you for. And don't be afraid of those objections that you are seeing or hearing to address them publicly. I address the cost of Shakeology all the time, or the fact that Steph addressed it today about people, saying it's a protein shake. And, you just have to figure out what people are saying to you. And if money is a huge thing that people are saying to you, use that objection to your benefit. And even if it's in your workout post, say it as something like, I can't believe that 2 years ago, I thought that an at-home workout would ever get me this. And here I am, whatever it is, address those objections publicly so that you're not just leaving it go. Because if the one person has that objection, there's probably 5 that do.
Okay. Yeah. So my question is like, I've seen you and I've seen Holly post about like, I used to spend so much money on Dunkin' Donuts or coffee or energy drinks. And now I have energy and it's all healthy for me and I'm drinking this shake and it only cost me this much. But I didn't do that. Like I didn't spend money on energy drinks because one, we don't have that kind of money. Like I've said, we're like barely getting by with being able to do that. So how do I get people excited about something that I'm struggling myself to even manage to pay for and work the business, because right now it's a big struggle for me.
What do you drink Shakeology for, breakfast?
No, I don't. I use it for a snack. It's not as a meal because it doesn't keep me full. So I can't use it as a keep me full update, a status, or a energy. It does help my IBS, which I've mentioned that it helps my digestive problems several times, and that working out makes me feel better. But it's just like I'm trying to get people more excited when I'm trying to be excited still about it myself. Pretty much. That's where I'm stuck at.
Yeah. I think it's hard in the beginning when you're a new coach, and I've talked to a lot of people about it. And I think a lot of the, the more seasoned coaches, like always kind of tell you, like, you kind of have to act as if like, it's hard for me sometimes, to bring somebody into the business, and saying like, oh yeah, you're going to make all this money when I haven't done that myself. But, then I sit next to people who are extremely successful and I've watched them grow their business from the ground up. And I know the reason I haven't done it myself is because I haven't put the time in. So right. I know, and I'm super excited, and I know that I can help somebody grow their business because I know what it takes. So, I think part of that, I think you have to read personal development, kind of in an area to get yourself, I think that's what it was for me. I mean, I think I kind of struggled. It's kind of in the belief in myself. It kind of took me a while because I was like, wow, how do I tell somebody something that I don't believe? And, I think I didn't believe in myself enough because I wasn't doing it. And then I realized, okay, I'm not doing it. I don't, because my situation is different, but just because I haven't, I can still tell someone else, so it's kind of hard, but, I think you can still enjoy it as a snack. And,
so Vanessa, you whenever we started, before any of this, you did drink other things.
Just coffee. I didn't.
No, I'm talking about like other shakes.
Oh, Herbalife. Yes.
Okay. You don't have to say that in general, but you can, the objection, because there's people out there that drink it. There's people out there that think Plexus and all this other crap is good for them.
Right.
And you can just say, I used to drink this other shake and I thought it was, good for me, whatever it is. Cause I talk shit on GNC all the time because I used to sit there and I was disgusted with myself that my memory came up the other day and it was the stupid, like, pumpkin thing, that protein shake from GNC. And I was like, I would take this over coffee any day. And I'm like, I can't even believe that I used to drink that. Drink that. That was something like good. Why is that? Is that better? There we go. But yeah, I think things like that are much better than, the energy. It doesn't have to be, but like I said, again, just because that is what, you see that we're doing or whatever, doesn't mean that, that's what works. I used to drink energy drinks, you know what I mean? Like, you have to figure out like what works for you and like things that it's helped you with. Like, again, talking about diet pills and eating diet pills like they're candy. That's not something I'm so comfortable with sharing people. But there's people out there that are doing it and they think that's a great thing. Like, all I wanted to do was look good and feel good. I looked good and I looked good on the outside, but I didn't feel good. And it wasn't doing anything. It was actually hurting me because it would make my heart race like a freaking lunatic. So that kind of stuff is the stuff that you have to address versus, just because there's other coaches and energy. And if you guys are talking about Shakeology giving you energy, think about a post before you make posts, because I've seen a lot of coaches lately, because other people are saying that Shakeology gives them energy. I can't really attest Shakeology solely for my energy because, one, I drink Energize twice a day. And two, before I even started drinking Energize, I think Shakeology, eating healthy and working out, it's like a trifecta of things. I don't think Shakeology in itself, somebody's going to sit there and eat French fries and whatever else, and they're going to drink Shakeology and it's going to make them feel amazingly good, because that's not the way that it works. So you have to put that out there that, the trifecta of it all. But a lot of coaches, I have been seeing this a lot lately, that they're putting it out there that Shakeology gives them energy and blah, 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 because they see what other coaches break it down as what it does for them. And then 2 minutes later, an hour, 3 hours later, they're making a post about how they can't wait to go to bed because they're exhausted. It makes no sense, and you make yourself look like an idiot. Don't do that, and I'm not saying that anybody on this team has done it, but I'm just warning you because I've seen a lot of coaches doing it. And I'm like, you are totally like contradicting what you just said 2 hours ago about this amazing shake. And, if it's not doing that for you, or like for me, before I started drinking Energize or whatever, I would drink Shakeology and I did stay up later and I did feel like a constant, like, standard energy all throughout the day, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like it definitely boosted my energy, but your energy is going to be boosted if you're eating healthy and you're working out. It's a trifecta of things. It's not just you're going to drink this chocolate shake and you're going to be like through the roof with energy, because that's not what happens. And we do not want to promote that. And then just like we do not want to promote that it's a weight loss shake, because that's not what Shakeology is. Again, it's a trifecta of things. If you're drinking Shakeology, you're working out and you're eating right, you're going to lose weight. I mean, that's just the way it is. Shakeology, bottom line, is a health shake. And I will talk about that till I'm blue in the face, because that's where it comes in for me. It changed my life in the aspect of 10 years of abnormal results to the doctors to one day going after drinking Shakeology for 18 months and everything's normal. And that's never happened to me. So for me, it's been health and talking about the fact that I don't get sick anymore. And my body is just in a better place because it's a multivitamin for me. It's my daily vitamin. So that's the kind of thing that we need to be talking about versus just what everybody else is saying. If it helps your digestive system, talk the shit out of that. You know what I mean? If it helps you with energy, if it helps you with me, like I talk about all the time, how it's helping with, test results. And for me, it's been huge for my digestive system. So just don't be afraid just because somebody else is talking about it in a certain way. If that's never worked for you, that's not what it works for you for. So I just think you have to find it, like, and Amy said, believe. And I know you struggle with that. So you need to believe in 100% because you know that it helps you. I mean, you're sitting and you're doing it while you're doing your transfusions and stuff. So who knows where you would have been last year if you didn't have Shakeology and you were stuck in this situation. So, I mean, you might be much more sick than you are now if you didn't have that extra, you know what I mean? Because I know you guys eat much better and you're drinking the shake. So you guys all being healthy, definitely.
I made a post about it because the infusion I do, the antibiotic, literally, obviously I have shingles now, takes everything out of my body completely. But when I noticed that because I'm not supposed to technically be drinking it because I have the drains, but I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it. And I made a post about it, and I noticed that when I feel like after my infusion or before, I make sure I drink it or after because I don't feel as run down. I just have only posted about that once, and it's just, you're right. It's I suck at personal development and believing in myself, plain and simple. And
yes.
Right now, it's even harder. Like, it's super hard right now.
Yeah.
And I'm
I can understand that.
about it.
I can understand. Okay. Does anybody else have anything? I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Amy, thank you so much. That was very helpful. You've been like a godsend to me. Honestly, I would not be doing some of the things I'm doing lately if it wasn't for you being like, just do it. Because honestly, you guys, there was this little thing, these scenarios that we got at the retreat. I looked at mine and I was just like, oh, I don't want to say this one in front of all these people. And I gave it to someone else and we switched because I just didn't want to, because that was the one thing that I struggled with. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just confronted it and dealt with it and just, put it out there. But I listened to their answer anyways. And I was like, oh, I probably would have said that. But so it's just a matter of, really figuring out what works for you, not being afraid to you don't have to follow the scripts, just say how you feel, say what you want. And like Hope said, like, what's the deal? You were so excited about this 2 weeks ago. Like, what happened? What changed? Is everything okay? Is there something, you know what I mean? Be there as a friend because you may not think you're forming, but in a way you are forming because you're actually caring about them instead of saying, okay, I'll talk to you next month. Because I have done that before. So I appreciate you very much, Amy, for helping us and chatting with us. And all of you guys for getting on. If you have any questions.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Why is that doing?
Do you mind if I ask you? Oh, you said yes. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, she said yes in the chat. It popped up late and I was impatient.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything that you have questions that most of you guys probably are friends with Amy or follow her. If not, you can feel free to ask me and I'll message her, or you guys can reach out to her. She's, cool as shit. So hold on one second.
Yeah, I think we're all friends. If not, just friend request me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, ladies. Well, thank you all for getting on. You have a wonderful night, and and next week we're not going to be having a call because I am going to be on my way home from vacation, and we're not getting until like midnight. So if you want, I can give someone, I'll message Hope because she did it last time. I can maybe give her the login or whatever, or somebody has Zoom. You guys can get on and do like a power hour or chat like you guys did last time. So, but I'll reach out to her and see if she wants to do that, but I'm not doing a call next week. And I will do the calendar before I go anywhere because it needs to be done. It's getting done tomorrow, actually. So, yeah. If you guys need anything, you know where to find me, okay? Bye. Thank you, Amy.